Hi guys, and welcome to this third Corona workout. Full disclosure, the filming of this video went completely tits up. Video stopped in the middle. I filmed the second half. The first half didn't work. So today's Saturday and I'm back filming the first half when I've already filmed the second half yesterday and I just don't have the energy to do it for a third time this morning. So we're just going to do it in two parts. I've done my best to make sure that everything's the same, but I never claim to be professional with my camera skills. So there are going to be changes, and I'm sure you'll all notice it. Never mind, it won't affect the quality of the actual workout. In this workout, we're going to do a lot of what we did in the first two workouts and take everything a level up. That shouldn't be a surprise by now. The whole theme of this series is quality movement and progression. Okay, I want to teach you how to do the important things well, and then how to take it up a level, little bit by little bit, over the coming, well, there's 10 videos, it's going to be like 20 days, something like that. So that's how proper training should work, and you're going to hear me make that spiel over and over and over again over the next few days or the next few workouts. If you're not ready for the next level, for the progression, then I'm always going to give you the option to stay where you are. So for example, we're going to progress onto lunges from squats today. If you're still not comfortable with squats, you need to stay with the squats. That's pretty much it. That's how we're going to, this is how we're going to roll for the whole series. We're going to start with our mobility warm-up and then move on to the strength, which is what I filmed yesterday. Okay, so coming onto your mat, or those of you have asked me what to do if you don't have a yoga mat. Do you have a baby play mat or a floor? Like, you don't need a mat, and you can put a cushion under your knees if you need to. So we're going to start with a roll down, just starting to warm the spine up. So we're going to tuck our chin, standing straight, tuck our chin, roll your arms in, and one vertebrae at a time, and just going to roll down towards the floor. Now you should feel the stretch move slightly lower down your spine. And then we're going to roll all the way down to wherever we can. Okay, if you're stuck here, that's totally fine. If you're stuck here, that's also fine. Don't bend your knees to get closer to the floor, just hang out there. And then you're going to squeeze your bum. Once you get to wherever you can get to, squeeze your bum, and we're going to tuck the pelvis and roll back up the other way. Okay, shoulders and then head last. Okay, we're going to do a couple more of those. Rolling your head down, shoulders in, should feel that big stretch on the back of your neck. And as you roll down vertebrae by vertebrae, that stretch should move a little bit lower down your back. And this time you're going to be able to get like a millimeter, half a centimeter lower. Oh, feel that stretch. And then squeeze your bum, roll back up. And then do one more of these. Okay, tuck the chin, roll the shoulders in, feel the stretch on the back of the neck, and then feel it move down the back, bit by bit. Awesome, all the way down, as low as you can, keeping your knees straight. It's not a competition. That goes for all things in fitness. Squeeze your bum and roll up. It's not a competition. It's just about getting better over time. Okay, from here we're going to go into our baby squat. So you're going to get into your deep squat. It's early morning for me, so I'm still super duper stiff. If you're not in this position yet, grab hold of something, just like we did in the other videos. You can still do this even if you're not all the way down, even if you're not able to keep your heels on the floor. Hold on to something heavy and get as low as you can. Okay, hands on the floor, we're going to stick our bum up in the air. And we're just going to go back and forth between these two movements. Back down into here. And do about 10 of these, just going back and forth. This is, I find with everyone, that mobility, like dynamic mobility, going back and forth between two movements is far more effective than holding static stretches. Over time, has way better results. Okay, a few more of these. I'm starting to feel warm. Although the backs of my knees are screaming at me because I did so much of this yesterday. Lots of stretching of the backs of the legs. And really playing around with that foot position. You've got to find something that's comfortable for you. So if your feet are too close together and you're like this, like, Jen, I can't get my heels down, try getting your feet a little bit wider apart. Okay, this is an opportunity to find what feels good, to find what suits your body, rather than just rushing through the movements. Okay, so we're going to come back down into this deep squat, and we're going to try a new squat, a squat mobility drill. What you're going to try and do is get one knee down to the floor. What most of you will do is this. Okay, you've got to keep that heel down as well. So keeping that whole side of the foot, the inner side of the foot down, rolling your knee in and trying to touch the floor. You get a weird stretch on the inside of your thigh. Now, lots of you aren't going to be able to do that, and you're going to be stuck here, and you're going to feel a really, really weird stretch on the inner thigh, on like your groin. Okay, don't push it. Don't really try and push it down towards the floor. You should really try and get your weight onto the foot that's on the floor, that's supporting you, and just bring your knee in gently, passively. Don't actively with your knee. Don't push it down with your hand. Okay, so it's a bit of mobility for the foot that's still on the floor as well. You might have to shift your weight from side to side, and as you get better mobility, you might be able to stay more centered in the middle. Okay, last couple, going to wherever you can. Okay, and then we're going to stand up, shake it out. Your knees might be a little bit sore. Now I'm going to do an actual squat to warm up. I'm going to take my box. I'm going to do 10 of these. I'm doing it to this box because this is the right height for me and my squat. Remember, use that foot, that whatever was comfortable for you in that deep squat, that's what you're going to be doing here. Okay, and if this is too low for you, if you find that your knees are falling in when you come back up, or if you have to really hold your breath, if you're not able to blow out through the movement, you might want to keep it higher. You might want to come and do something on your sofa, or maybe even on a chair that's higher than this. Okay, it's whatever's right for you. What I would say is if you're not able to go fairly low on these squats, then when we get to the lunges later on, I'd say keep working on the squat rather than going into the lunge. Okay, last two. I have no idea how many we've done. Feels like 10. Okay, start to get a little bit warmer. And we're not done with the squat mobility just yet. Well, this doesn't feel like it. You're going to come down onto your bum, feet together, this butterfly. What I want you to do is pull your knees down towards the floor. Okay, so you might feel a little stretch a big stretch on the inside of your thighs. You might also feel that you're squeezing your bum. Okay, then you're going to release it. Just like flap them around a little bit. Then we're going to squeeze the bum again and pull the knees down towards the floor. Okay, just for a few seconds, and then let go. And then we're going to squeeze it again. So it's a bit of a glute activation exercise. It helps you keep your knees pointing out over the toes in the squat. One more time, squeeze your bum, pull your knees down towards the floor, feel the stretch on the inner thighs, and let it go. Okay, we're going to go back into our upward dog, downward dog. Loads of people have really tight shoulders, so I just want to move you through this full range of motion as much as possible. Quite a few of you will really need to work on that shoulder mobility. Okay, so from all fours, tuck your toes under, stick your bum back, and push your chest towards the knees. And then come into an upward facing dog, stretch out the front of the body and the hip flexors, tuck your toes under, push yourself back into a downward dog. Remembering, it's not about keeping your knees straight. You need to bend your knees a little bit in order to get your shoulders, feel that stretch in your shoulders. That's what you need to do. Okay, coming forward, and this time you're going to bend your knees and feel that really big stretch in the front of the thighs and the hips. Okay, if this is difficult for you, if you can't even get into this position, if your back hurts, then just stop on all fours and go back into the downward facing dog. Okay, everyone into the downward facing dog again. and then upward facing dog. I'm going to do a few more of these. This is about warming the shoulders up as well as stretching them out. And forward again, bend your knees. You might just be able to bend one at a time. Just play around it. You don't necessarily have to go at my pace. You can go faster or slower. It's just about moving those joints through full range of motion. Okay, last one before we move into our strength work. Okay, so I just finished recording the whole video for you guys and the camera stopped working in the middle, so I'm going to do the whole thing again, or at least the strength part again. At least I'm warmed up now. So picking up where we left off, we're going to come into this kneeling position and you're going to grab a cushion for your knee if you need to. We're going to do just a little sequence from yoga here, just a quick one to warm up keep stretching the hip flexors and then leaning back to stretch out the hamstrings. Okay, so we're just going to go back and forth between this about 5 times. I'm well and truly warmed up now, so forgive me if I go a bit fast. Okay, last one, we're going to switch over. Okay, and leaning forward, remembering here, we're not just going as far as we can like this. It's kind of cheating. You want to tuck that bum, tuck that pelvis, and lean forward, and you should feel a nice big stretch in here. Then leaning back, stretch out the back of the legs. Okay, then leaning into it. I don't know if I've said this already, so forgive me if I repeat myself, but I don't do any static stretches. I'm not a big fan of them. I like moving through full range of motion and back and forth. You tend to really improve range of motion doing this. Okay, so into our strength workout. This is the bit I'm dreading. Right, we're gonna do a hip thrust. Coming in onto the sofa. And if you don't have a sofa, just do glute bridges like we did in the previous video. So, with your upper back on the sofa, elbows resting on it in this gangster car position. It's just a good way of remembering it. You're going to thrust your hips up in the air, okay, and find this kind of tabletop position where your knees are at 90 degrees, feet are squat width apart, your chin is tucked, and you've got one hand behind your head if you need to support your neck, and you're pushing your knees out, okay? Touch your bum down on the floor, and then hip thrust back up. This is why I moved the sofa around, so I'm at a bit of an angle. Okay, a couple of mistakes I'll see people doing. Don't have your feet too far away. Then you're just gonna feel your hamstrings, and you're not actually gonna feel your bum. And by the same token, don't have your feet too close to your bum, because then you won't feel anything at all, or you'll probably feel your quads more than anything else. Okay, so we want to get an angle makes us feel our bum the most. If you're arching your back like this, you need to tuck your pelvis a little bit and squeeze your bum. Your bum should be on fire. Nothing else should be hurting. You might feel your quads a little bit. Don't do this. Okay, keep that chin tucked. And also don't do this. Okay, it's not this. You want to have your weight on your back. Your elbows are just resting on the sofa because otherwise, you know, what are you going to do with them? It's just a little bit awkward. Okay. Last one. Awesome. Okay, now we're going to move into our, we're going to do a downward facing dog. The same we did in the warm up. Upward dog, downward dog, but we're going to stop in a plank in the middle. Okay, so going into our downward dog. Remember to go through full range of motion, stretch out your shoulders completely. Then you're going to come into a plank. Remember, this isn't a plank, okay, and this isn't a plank. You want to push the floor away, okay, then hips down, reach up, and then find the plank on the way to the downward dog and just hold it for a second. Everyone is completely obsessed with planks as a core exercise. I don't rate them as a core exercise at all, or an abdominal exercise. They are great for building strength in the chest, in the shoulders, and in the arms, and in the wrists. If your wrists hurt doing this, by the way, I would come onto the floor and just do a set of glute bridges. Okay, so we're going to be doing this for a little while. They're great for building strength in those muscles. Obviously the core's working a little bit, but the core works in everything you do in different ways. So they're a bit overrated as a core exercise, but this is a great way of building strength into push-ups and, well, into push-ups and lots of other things as well, but we'll be working on push-ups. I'm trying to convince all of you to join my push-up challenge on social media, and we'll be starting to do some push-ups in this program soon. Last hour facing dog. Okay, awesome. Right, coming up, we're gonna do a lunge. So, loads of people do lunges wrong. Well, we're gonna do a reverse lunge. So come to the front of your mat if you have one, you don't need a mat. What a lot of people do is they step back, they shift their weight over onto their back foot, they do some kind of weird lunge thing like this, and then they kick forward. That does nothing. What I want you to do is take a nice big step back, knee down towards the floor, lean forward just a little bit because that keeps your weight on the front leg. You've got 90 degrees at each joint. Standing back up and pushing the world away with that front leg. Okay, so we're not kicking off that back leg. We're just using it for balance. We're touching our knee down on the floor and pushing the world away with our front leg. Okay, it's not supposed to be an exercise for your back leg. If you're feeling it in the front of this back leg here, you're doing it wrong. It's just a stretch and it's not actually doing anything. You want to feel it in this front bum and this front thigh. That's where you want to feel it. Okay, it's hard to do this and talk at the same time. Switching over to the second leg. You're going to do 10 on each side. Again, leaning forward just slightly, it helps you keep your weight on the back, on the front leg. If you don't lean forward, what ends up happening is this, and then you feel it all in the back leg, and it's just got zero benefit. The whole point is to get this front leg, get more weight on the front leg. If this is too much for you still, if you can't do this well, or if you're sort of like having to use your hands to get up, or if you can only do part of the range of motion, go back to your squats. Okay, it's the same muscle group working. This is just harder because you've got 2/3 your body weight on one leg. Whew, okay. I think that was like 10, that was probably more than 10. Grab a quick drink. This is challenging for me. I'm more of a sit back and tell people what to do kind of coach, and a lot less of doing while I teach people kind of coach. Okay, so quick reminder of the Romanian deadlift. I should have done this in the warm-up. Never mind. Bum back towards the wall. Nice flat back. You want to get as parallel as you can to the floor. Don't let your knees go forward. Knees back, bum up, okay, like this. Nice flat back. And don't bend your spine. You're not getting anything extra out of the movement by going a little bit further. And you want to keep that nice straight back. Finding that stretch down your hamstring. Okay, from here what we're going to do is we're going to make a T with our hands. Palms facing down. Hands down like pendulums and opening up like a T. Okay, keeping that back really lovely and straight. Keeping that stretch in the hamstrings and opening up the hands like this. Okay, don't do this. For the life of me, I can't figure out why every time I teach this movement, no one makes a T. They make this weird shape like this. Hands out like a T. Okay, we're hitting the upper back muscles here and the lower back's working hard to support you. If it's too much, you should feel your lower back a little bit, but if it's too much, just come out of it and just rest for a bit. Okay, we'll build up to longer sets. It's so important, come out of it, that's enough. It's so important to do back exercises, and it's so hard to do them well without some equipment. So I'm going to be getting as much into this series as I possibly can to strengthen your back. Okay, coming back into hip thrusts. Those of you who know me, wait, let's just go through this quickly. Feet squat width apart, 90 degrees at the knees, pushing the knees out over the toes. Squeeze your bum, tuck your pelvis, upper back on the sofa. We're going to do like 20 of these, more or less. I'm not actually going to count. You stop if you've had enough. If you've done enough of them, you should feel your bum really burning. So those of you who know me, who trained with me or who follow me on social know that I'm obsessed with doing back and bum exercises. I'm trying to get women to focus more on strengthening their back and bum. Pregnant, postpartum, never had kids, it doesn't matter. This is our scaffolding. Everyone's obsessed with doing core. There's not any actual core exercises in this program, mainly because core work has to be so individualized. But also because I want to encourage you to do back and bum exercises as well as you can with no equipment at home, and start introducing you into these important techniques. Okay, 3 more. 3, 2, last one. Okay, back to our downward dog, push up, upward dog. So we're doing the same sequence that we did before. Downward dog, push up, upward dog. Plank, upward dog. Okay, we're doing these same 4 strength exercises. Okay, this is not one of the back and bum exercises. Like I said before, this is chest and arms and shoulders. Okay, and then we should do 2 sets. I'm going to keep these workouts short, so we're just going to do 2 sets of this strength stuff. Hopefully, I'll hit around the 20-minute mark. Okay, I'm back. A couple more. I much prefer moving through a plank rather than just holding it for a minute, mainly because it's as boring as hell just holding a plank for a minute or 2 minutes. Okay, come and stand back up. Okay, 10 lunges on each side. Again, if this is too hard for you, 1, make sure you go back to the squat. 3, 4, your knee shouldn't be going forward this time. Okay, it shouldn't be doing that. And your knee probably will hurt if it does that. 6, oh God. 7, think. 8. Okay, weight through that front leg. 9 and 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know loads of people are like, don't lean forward in a lunge, and you don't want to do it too much, but it's really going to help you keep that weight over that front leg and make it more of a glute dominant exercise rather than it being all quad. And also, just another little tip about lunges. Wait, let's finish this set. I think this is the last one. Another little tip about lunges. Don't do forward lunges. Like, don't do this. It's so pointless. Do reverse lunges. You'll get way more weight through that front leg. Okay, last one. Bum back. Nice straight back. Opening up. Okay, making a nice T. Okay, so keeping that back lovely and straight. If you're like this, that's not the point. You want to be as parallel as possible to the floor. Okay, you also don't want to be down here. It gets a little bit silly as well. Parallel to the floor, feel that stretch down your hamstrings, making a T. Okay, you should feel your upper back muscles pinching together, and you should feel your lower back as well. Okay, last 3, 2, last one. Whew, 1, and we're done. That was the 3rd workout in this Corona series. I hope you'll join me for the 4th.